of the things that we learned that we really like for breakfast. It's easy. It's a basic setup the night before, and if you have some of the stuff on hand already, it's even easier. So I always have sausage. I always have bacon. I almost always have a little bit of heavy cream, and I always have sourdough going. So I have, I made just a single loaf of bread last night. I put extra oil. I don't know if you can see the oil in there, but I put extra, probably about 2 or 3 tablespoons in there, because I not only wanted the oil to keep the glass from, or the dough from sticking to the glass, but I also wanted to incorporate some of that oil into the bread while still letting it do its thing. Sometimes oil can hinder the rising process or the fermentation process. I'm not quite sure why that is, so I just get it on the outside. So I will have to knead it. I will have to take it out of the bowl and knead it on the surface of my countertop for a minute. I have cleaned my countertops. I've prepped a few things. I baked some bacon. I do like to bake it. I do it for about 400 degrees for about 20 minutes. And then I did make a little batch of a thick, stronger sausage gravy. So I'm going to point the camera down so you can see what I'm doing. I have my pizza stone in the oven right now heating up. You don't have to have a pizza stone. You can use a cast iron skillet. You can use you could probably use a cookie sheet. You can be creative. It doesn't have to be round. It could be rectangular. You could use a cake pan if you want to do a smaller batch. I would only probably do about half of a loaf, like out of this with like a 9x11, a regular cake pan. I would only do about half of this in there and pat it out really thin. I don't like super thick crust, but I don't like super thin crust either. So I'm kind of like somewhere in the middle. I like to have a little substance. With that being said, I'm going to point you, I have to slow down. With that being said, I'm going to point you down and I'm going to show you my breakfast pizza. Be right back. All right. I might even still cut this in half and do 2 pizza crusts out of it, because 1 loaf of dough is actually quite a bit of bread dough, especially for pizza. So it's really quite oily. And I use avocado oil or olive oil. I really don't like the taste of olive oil, and avocado oil doesn't have a big flavor to me. So I really like the avocado oil a lot. I'm going to, and I don't flour my surface. It's fresh flour and I don't get along well. But I can do a full fermented, my flour has been fully fermented. I did it last night before I went to bed, and it is now 9:30 in the morning. 9:30 in the morning. It took me a long time to get up this morning and get this going. And I didn't have to work today, so I have time to do this, and I'm like, take advantage of that time. I'm going to try and get all the oil out of that I can, because I really want that oil in there. I do like my dough a little chewy, but not so chewy I can't bite through it. And that oil kind of helps soften it a little bit so that it's not quite so chewy. Okay, I don't really want to do that anymore. So I am going to eyeball it in half. Oops. Pretty close, huh? Close enough? And let's get it into a nice ball. The ball part really isn't as important. Just helps kind of roll it out. Like, another thing with bread dough is it has a lot of elasticity. So, see me roll it out, and then it all just kind of bunches back up. So you're not just rolling, but you're kind of adding a stretch to it. For lack, I don't know don't know what that's called in baker's terms, but you know why when the pizza guys who make pizza, you know how they toss it in the air and they spin it, they are essentially just stretching it. I mean, you can really stretch it this way too, and just get it to stretch and just, yeah, I'm not good at that. I'd probably lose my dough. And I am not, rolling dough is not one of my favorite things. I don't love to do pie crust because I don't really love to roll dough. I don't do a lot of sugar cookies because I don't love to roll dough. My biscuits have a tendency to be drop biscuits because I don't like to roll dough. Probably one of the laziest cooks out there. Well, I should rephrase that. Laziest scratch cooks. I wish I enjoyed this because it would add some things to the stuff that I like to make. Like I know with croissants, when you make a real croissant, you're taking your dough, putting a ton of butter on it, you fold it, and then you roll it, and then you fold it, and you roll it, and it says add more butter. And I know it's creating layers that way, but not something I love to do. So I think that's about perfect. I'm gonna go grab my heated stone and I'll be right back. Okay, so I know my stone does not look pretty. It's the nature of a stone. They don't often end up staying pretty forever. I do kind of like the black ones where you can't tell that it's kind of nasty. Just gonna slap that on there. I probably could have rolled it on my rolling pin and made it all precise. Okay, so I got my dough on here, and I'm going to take a fork, just a plain old fork, and you want to make sure you get some holes all the way through it or you'll have giant bubbles. And all of your cheese and sauce and everything will just fall right off. Try to make sure you get all the way through to the bottom. Don't be afraid to put a lot of holes in it. Okay, so I'm going to stick this in the oven. I've got my oven at 400 degrees. I'm going to put it in there for about 10 minutes, and I will be right back to show you where we're at. While my dough is in the oven cooking, I'm going to scramble a few eggs. I like a whole egg. My husband really likes a fried egg. He would eat it if I just put it on there whole, but I think I'm going to do half and half. So I just washed my eggs. I keep mine, I have chickens, and I keep them on the counter until I'm ready to use them. And I don't know if you can see that. Can you see? Those are speckles. It's such a pretty egg. And then I have I have about 6 hens, and they keep me well into eggs. So I'm going to crack about 6 of them. And I almost always pop them into a bowl first anyway, because I don't want to put them straight on my pizza and have a nasty egg come out. I mean, I've only had one egg that was not good in the whole 4 years I've had chickens. So, and I'm just going to scramble these. I'll be right back. I'm going to go fry them real quick. You know how to scramble an egg, right? Okay, another thing I'm going to prep up real quick is I'm going to dice up just a little bit of ham. I have some sausage gravy. I have some bacon that I baked. I'm going to cut that up into small pieces so that we have some flavor to put on our pizza. And I don't like big chunks of ham. I like them to be kind of small. I'm going to grab 3 slices. Alright, so I've got some fresh mozzarella, I've got some bacon, I have diced up ham, cheese. Let me put this out of the way. Move this aside. I have my scrambled egg. Okay, so it's actually sat in there for about 12 minutes because I was busy finishing some stuff. Okay, so I'm going to take about half of my gravy and I'm going to just spread it on there. Oh, and I'm going to make a mess on the way. Now that I have my gravy on, I'm going to take my ham, put some bacon on there. Okay, so fresh mozzarella. On half of it, scrambled eggs. As my husband prefers scrambled. And I love him. Okay, so I put the scrambled, you're going to hear my puppies in the background. I put scrambled egg on half. I'm not going to put the fresh egg on it until I get the cheese on it so the cheese will hold it in place. I don't have any mozzarella cheese, so we are using cheddar, which will make it a little bit stronger. So I'm not going to use quite as much cheese as I would if I had mozz. It actually seems like I'm using quite a bit. Figure out how much you want. That's how much I grated. That's how much I want. Then I'm going to take my egg and I am going to crack my eggs right on the surface. And no, I'm not going to eat a whole half a pizza. My mom will help me eat it. My daughters might help me. Well, one of them won't eat it because it's got eggs. But I'm going to set this back in the oven for about 10 minutes at 400 degrees. And I'll be right back. Okay, so on the top, I can put salt, pepper. I can put garlic powder. I don't love garlic and eggs together. I think it's a strange combo. See, that's why I put stuff there. That is an egg. I don't want to salt and pepper this. I kind of like to salt and pepper as we eat it. There's plenty of salt in the sausage and the bacon and the ham and the cheese. And pepper, if you want pepper on yours, you go right ahead. It's a good idea. I'm not interested. So I'm just going to pop this in the oven for about 10 more minutes, 400 degrees, and I'll be back when it's done. Okay, so it's been 10 minutes. I just pulled it out of the oven. It needs to rest about 5 minutes, so I think I'm going to let it sit here for just about 5 minutes. But there is my pizza. I'm going to attempt to get this onto the cutting board and off of this. And it shouldn't be stuck too bad, so. Okay, so I cooked this side just a little bit longer because the whites were just a little bit runnier than I like. So we did about 6 more minutes on this side. I just kept this side out since I'd already cut it. That is my breakfast pizza. I'll show you. I don't know if you can see. There's like ham and it's got it all. I hope you give it a try. We kind of love this. So I hope you give this a try. I hope you like the video. Let me know in the comments below if you try it. And I will leave a link to the bread dough recipe that I have down below. And yeah, thanks for joining me on this adventure of a fork and a loaf.